The night I found out my wife was living a whole second life, I was standing in my socks holding a large meat lover's pizza I never ordered, staring at a receipt with my credit card number on it, and another man's name under family combo. Not boyfriend, not friend, family combo. That was the first punch to the chest. The second punch came when I saw the delivery address. It wasn't in Cleveland. It wasn't even in Ohio. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. Before I tell y'all how my world flipped over because of one greasy pizza box and a $10 tip, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and drop in the comments what you would have done if you were me, because I promise you, by the end of this story, half of y'all would have been in jail and the other half would have been laughing too hard to talk. Let's get into it. My name is Malik Grayson, born and raised on the east side of Cleveland. I was 36, worked as a fleet supervisor for a medical supply company, wore steel-toe boots 5 days a week, and prided myself on being the kind of man who showed up. Bills paid early. Oil changed on time. Mama called, I answered. Wife wanted flowers, she got flowers. My wife, Janelle, was the kind of woman people called graceful because she knew how to smile through anything. She had that church lady voice in public, soft and sweet, but at home she liked old-school R&B, fuzzy socks, and stealing fries off my plate after saying she wasn't hungry. We'd been married 7 years. No kids yet, though we'd talked about it plenty. Friday nights used to be our thing. We'd order takeout, sit on the couch, and roast reality TV like we were getting paid for commentary. Janelle was funny too, I'll give her that. One time a man on a dating show said he was an alpha male, and she looked at the screen and said, Baby, if you gotta announce you're a lion, you probably a raccoon. I laughed so hard sweet tea came out my nose. That was my wife. Or at least, that was the woman I thought I knew. Looking back, the cracks had been there for a while. She started taking these weekend wellness trips every couple months. Said she needed space to recharge, time with old college friends, sometimes a women's retreat, sometimes a vendor expo for her little online candle business. She always had an answer ready. Neat, folded, gift-wrapped. And because I trusted her, I never pulled at the ribbon. The pizza came on a Tuesday. Rainy, cold, miserable kind of night. I had just gotten home, tossed my keys in the bowl, and was about to heat up some leftover pot roast when the doorbell rang. Delivery guy looked about 19, soaked from head to toe, holding 2 pizza boxes and a 2-liter ginger ale. He said, Order for Marcus Reed? I told him he had the wrong house. Then he frowned, checked his phone, and said, Nah, man, this account got this address saved. Paid online, too. I took the receipt because I figured maybe my car got skimmed somewhere. But right there at the top was my name, my card, and underneath the order notes, Leave at door, kids are asleep. Kids. My heart did a whole stop and stutter. I read it again. Then I saw the delivery location the order had originally been rerouted from because the app glitched and printed both addresses. The first address was in Nashville. Apartment 3B. Same account. Same card ending. Same profile email. My wife's business email. I called Janelle right then. No answer. I texted her, You order pizza? She replied 3 minutes later, Nope. Why? I sent a picture of the receipt. Then nothing. Not a typing bubble. Not a question mark. Nothing. Just silence, so loud I could hear the rain tapping the windows like it knew something I didn't. When she finally came home an hour later, she was all performance. Babe, you look upset. That soft voice. That worried forehead wrinkle. That hand on my arm like she cared. I held up the receipt. Who is Marcus Reed? Her face changed for less than a second. But when you love somebody, you notice the smallest betrayal. It was quick, real quick, but I saw it, like a mask slipping. Then she laughed. Laughed. Probably fraud, Malik. People steal info all the time. She kissed my cheek and headed for the bedroom like the conversation was over. That night, while she slept with one hand tucked under her face like she was innocent enough to be painted in a museum, I started digging. First the pizza app, then the email. Then the cloud backups she forgot were synced to our home tablet because I was the one who set them up. There were hotel confirmations, gas receipts, photos, more photos than I could count. Janelle at a park in Nashville. Janelle in front of Cupcake Shop. Janelle with 2 little girls with matching pink bows. Janelle standing next to a tall dude with a trimmed beard, his arm around her waist. All 4 of them wearing matching shirts that said Reed Family Summer Jam. I sat there in the dark looking at a Christmas card photo from a year before while my wife slept 10 feet away under the blanket I bought from Target on sale. The card read, "Love, Marcus, Janelle, Aaliyah, and Brielle." I remember laughing, not because anything was funny, because sometimes pain shows up wearing a clown suit. I laughed so hard I had to put my hand over my mouth. My own wife had me playing husband in Ohio and was somebody's mama in Tennessee. The next morning, I made her breakfast. French toast, turkey bacon, sliced strawberries. She walked into the kitchen smiling, probably thinking she got away clean. "Oh, you made breakfast?" she said. I smiled right back. "Yeah, figured we deserved a good morning." She sat down happy as ever, syrup all on her fork, talking about some candle shipment. I looked at her and thought this woman could lie in 4K. But I said nothing. Not yet. Instead, I got smarter. For 2 weeks, I played the loving husband better than she played the loyal wife. I filled her gas tank, sent her thinking of you texts, even took her to a little jazz spot downtown where she held my hand under the table while a saxophone player butchered a Luther Vandross song. At one point, she leaned over and said, "You know, you still make me nervous in a good way." I almost choked on my drink. The audacity was Olympic level. But I kept smiling because when a person is building their own trap, the smartest thing you can do is hand them more rope. During those 2 weeks, I got everything. Bank statements, travel records, screenshots, photos, school fundraiser emails from Nashville, a lease with her name on it, even a voicemail from Marcus asking if she was still bringing the girls' science fair boards that weekend. Science fair boards. Meanwhile, I was up in Cleveland thinking my wife spent Saturdays buying eucalyptus oil and glass jars for candles. The more I found, the calmer I got. That's when revenge gets dangerous. Not when you're yelling, when you're organized. Her birthday was coming up, and Janelle loved attention the way flowers love sunlight. So I gave it to her. I told her I planned something special. Rented out a private room at a beautiful restaurant on the water. Invited her friends, my family, her cousin from Columbus, some church folks, everybody. She showed up in a fitted gold dress like she was ready for a crown. Walked in smiling, kissed my cheek, waved at everybody. "Baby, you did all this for me?" she asked. I stood up, clinked my glass, and said, "Oh, I sure did." At first, it looked like a sweet speech. I talked about how love is built on trust, how marriage means honesty, how sometimes the person you pray with is the same person playing in your face. The room got quiet. Janelle's smile started tightening around the edges. Then I nodded to the manager, and the screen behind us lit up. First photo, her in Nashville with Marcus. Second photo, the matching family shirts. Third photo, the Christmas card. Fourth photo, the lease. Fifth photo, the pizza receipt that started it all. You could hear forks dropping. Somebody's auntie whispered, "Oh my God," so loud it echoed. Janelle stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. "Malik, stop this right now." I looked at her and said, calm as Sunday morning, "Why? You manage 2 families. I figured you could handle 1 room." Her cousin covered her mouth. My uncle leaned back and said, "Phew." One of Janelle's little friends who used to act fake sweet around me stared at the screen like she wanted to evaporate. Then came the final gift. I told the waiter to bring out the cake. On top, in gold icing, it said, "Happy birthday to Janelle Grayson Reed. Pick a house." I'm not proud of how hard some people laughed, but I won't lie either. I heard one man slap the table. Janelle burst into tears and called me cruel. Cruel. That word rolled around in my head like a marble. Cruel was letting me hold you and pray over you while you were building family photo albums with another man. Cruel was kissing me goodbye for your vendor trips while your daughters in Nashville called you mama. So I told her, "No, Janelle. Cruel is what you did in secret. This is just light." Then the room got messier than I expected. Her church friend got up and left. Her cousin started cussing her out. My sister, who never liked Janelle but had been waiting years for proof, muttered, "I knew them eyebrows were dishonest." I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. Even my mama, who hates public mess, took off her glasses, looked at Janelle, and said, "Baby, all that lying and still no common sense." That line alone would have had the comment section in flames. Janelle tried one last move outside the restaurant. Tears, shaking voice, grabbing my sleeve. It wasn't what you think. I pulled my arm back and said, "You're right. It was worse." Then she said Marcus didn't know the full truth either, that she was trying to end it, that she got in too deep. I looked at her and realized something cold. Some people don't cheat because they're confused. They cheat because they enjoy being adored from multiple directions. She didn't get in too deep. She built the pool. Marcus found out everything that same night. I'd already sent him the receipts, the marriage certificate, the dates, all of it. He called me once. We spoke for 10 minutes. Two tired men standing on opposite ends of the same lie. He was hurt, angry, embarrassed. But mostly he sounded foolish the same way I did inside. He thought he had a woman building a home with him. I thought I had a wife building a future with me. Turns out both of us were just extras in Janelle's little stage play. The romantic part, funny enough, came later. About 8 months after the divorce started, I ran into Imani Brooks at a bookstore cafe in Shaker Heights. She was reaching for the last lemon loaf, and I said, "Go ahead. I'm healing, not hungry." She laughed. Real laugh. Warm laugh. We sat down and talked for 2 hours about music, bad dates, and why men over 30 suddenly love smoking meat and buying expensive flashlights. She told me straight up, "I don't do confusion." I said, "Good, because I'm allergic to plot twists." That was the first conversation I'd had in a long time that didn't feel like work. Imani wasn't flashy. She was honest. That made her beautiful in a way I didn't fully appreciate until after Betrayal. She'd text exactly what she meant. Show up when she said she would. Laugh at my corny jokes, even when they deserved prison time. One day, I cooked for her, and she tasted my mac and cheese, pointed at me with a fork, and said, "You can't be this emotionally available and seasoned like somebody's grandmother. Pick a struggle." I laughed until my stomach hurt. That kind of peace will make you realize how loud lying really is. As for Janelle, the double life collapsed the way double lives always do. Too many stories to manage. Too many people asking questions. Too many screenshots floating around. In the divorce, I kept the house. Kept my dignity too, after I went looking for it under all that pain. She lost plenty more than a husband that year. But that part wasn't even the real comeback. The real comeback was this. I stopped begging for explanations from someone committed to confusion. I healed loud, worked out, prayed, laughed again, loved better. There is nothing more brutal than becoming unreachable to the person who thought they could keep hurting you. Sometimes I still think about that pizza delivery guy. Poor kid had no idea he was carrying the opening scene to the end of my marriage. But life be like that. Sometimes the biggest truth in your life shows up in a wet jacket holding extra cheese and garlic knots. So if you ever feel that little nudge telling you something ain't right, pay attention. Betrayal is sloppy. It always leaves crumbs. And if y'all made it this far, tell me in the comments, was the birthday cake too much or not enough? Because to this day, my sister says I should have added candles shaped like question marks. Me? I think the cake was classy. Cold but classy. Either way, that was the night my loyal wife learned a hard lesson. If you play with somebody's heart long enough, don't be shocked when they hand your lies a microphone.